I just want to throw in one more. I know we didn't plan this, so I hope I don't throw you guys too big of a curveball here. But let's can we talk about Rhian Brewster real quick? Looks like he is going to. Well, there's a couple teams in for him, and it's not really decided yet. So definitely a step behind the Bale transfer. But Palace are interested, Sheffield are interested, and we know he's only priced at 4.5. And yeah, would you guys consider him? Are you guys hoping for him to go to one of those clubs, or what's your thoughts, Gasch?
Didn't I thought Sheffield? I thought I saw news that they agreed a fee with him or with Liverpool over the transfer. So I think they might be, in kind of leading it. But anyway, so I would most prefer him, I think, to go to Sheffield. I think they're most starved of a goal scorer up top, so he'd get the biggest the chance there to prove himself. And even if you have a 4.5 forward who's maybe not starting every single game, but playing semi-regularly, that's really what you're looking for in that the bench fodder spot. So,
but I think he would be starting almost every game.
I think he'd be playing a good amount of minutes too, especially if he starts scoring. Yeah,
dude, at 4.5, playing most games, that's kind of a no-brainer. Even if I'm not expecting great things from him, just to be able to have a 4.5 striker who's doing something. Tazz, how do you feel?
I've seen it a lot. I don't care who he goes to as long as he's getting minutes. That's my thing. I feel like a 4.5-pound striker that even if he averages 60 minutes, I will gladly keep him on my bench. And play a different formation than the 3-4-3 that I'm going with right now. And bring him on for those occasional games where I think he could possibly return when they're playing other equal teams or where they're favorable at home. So I feel like for me, Brewster at 4.5, is it kind of how we had Greenwood last season, being that cheap, kind of enables you to take that funds from a forward spot that you would have for another budget midfielder and just kind of boost your team elsewhere. So that's big.
C4.
So I kind of made this decision last week before this news came down that at 4.5, unless he becomes the next Messi or something, I'm not going to own 4.5 striker.
I don't think he's going to become the next Messi.
That's why I said unless. But for two reasons that I wouldn't own him under any circumstance, and those two being, one, I think I'd much rather have just if you're someone who doesn't already have those three, like a 3-man forward line, I'd rather just have a 4.5 defender instead. And my second point being that if anything ever happened to Brewster and you want to take him out of your team, I think it's more of a pain to have funds allocated to transfer him out, because it's not the same as a 6.0 striker where you can just make a bunch of lateral moves to different options. At that 4.5 mark, who can you move him to?
That's a good point. He kind of would be stuck on your team if you brought him in.
The amount of money you would have to move around to get him out, that's not a simple transfer.
But then he would just be bench fodder, regular 4.5 not playing.
I feel like you wouldn't have to worry so much about that happening, because if he misses a couple game weeks, he'll just sit on your bench for a couple game weeks. I feel like the only thing that could really screw you up is out for the season. You're not gonna worry about that because there's a chance of that happening to anybody.
I think that doesn't fit into the mentality this year that I had for my team, that I want all the players on my bench to be starting just in case COVID comes into play.